So my first question is for all the panelists. Considering the diverse perspective we have had today, could you share your thoughts on the collaborative efforts needed to accelerate the adoption of sustainable welding in the industry? So let's start with Mr. Sahu.
One is a technology. Second one is having an approach towards the quality. As Dr. Albert has said, no, we need to work together and these new standards, because going for AWS examination or going for a Swiss examination will have a global opening. Similar to that, Indian standard is also coming. So this is a news for me. So definitely we can work together with the equipments, with the welding consumables, and the process in fabrication start with cutting and the material. So what I feel, the material manufacturing also is very, very important. So we should work together for the progression of India.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Shinoy, would you like to add something?
Sustainability has become a buzzword. Everywhere, sustainability must be used effectively also. I mean, in welding sustainability, what do you mean? I think Shaju sir very well gave a very good outline. More than sustainability today, interest in welding is more keen. You need people to come forward and participate in welding per se. Okay, this is a trade which is not looked upon very effectively. But if you look at the success of Chandrayaan or Gaganyaan coming up next, or the high-speed rail, none of this will be possible without effective welding solutions. And the right kind of welding, you need right kind of people. Of course, equipment, consumables, and other things will come in place. Trained manpower, and more importantly, an attitude. If you want to sustain something, sustain the attitude towards quality. If that can come into us, then we will be serious about what we want to do. And if we are able to, value quality and pay for it, then sustainability and other things can fall in place. Right now, we are so far back or short of things that we need to run and catch up to efficient methods to produce and produce quick to gear up and take advantage of the sustainability is very loosely used. So just
thank you, Mr. Shinoy. Mr. Amrit Yoga, your take on this?
Yeah, sustainability, my understanding is we should not only talk about or think about our generations. There are many millions of generations which will follow our generation. So we have to keep the at least use of the perishable resources to the minimum level. So we should go for machines which are consuming very less electricity. They are saving, they are reducing on the consumption of wire, reducing. If wire is reduced, means your gas consumption is also reduced. And so, any technology, new technology which is coming, it is not just like that expensive. Their initial investment will be high, but they help us to make us more competitive in the market, make us our lives more sustainable. Our future generations also should be able to survive. All the things, all the perishable resources we should not use up. So new technology is coming, and we should go on, improving the technology further, so that we are reducing on the power consumption and wire consumption and gas consumption and everything like that.
Thank you, sir. Dr. Albert, do you want to add something?
I just mentioned about the need for welding professionals. In fact, if you want to a sustain an environment type of sustainability, and welding is obviously the conventional traditional welding is not at all environmental friendly, because you make a lot of noises, because manual metal arc welding, TIG welding, manual TIG welding and all, there is a stub losses, and there is a lot of gases emission, lot of heat is produced, and then the efficiency of the power source is poor. But things are changed in that direction. Lot of things like inverter power sources, automated welding, consumable direction is less, and now with the introduction of IoT things and that equipment, even the power source utilization is improving with a more efficient thing. So and then if you come back with robotization, we'll have further improvement. All those things will improve the sustainability. What is required for this is an environment where it can survive. Environment means a change from doing things at a lower cost for the immediate benefit, and losing sight of the long-term benefits.
Absolutely.
This is where one problem which I need is because somebody says, if some welder they are able to get any welder can do some job, they will weld, and if they can do any power source, cheaper power source, they can do this. And such type of efforts in the long run will not be useful, because it is. And another thing is, another important thing which again because none of us mentioned here is the safety and health hazards associated with the welding. And that is also a part of sustainability, because we should have a proper gadgets available to the welders and welding professionals, so that they are not exposed to fumes, and their safety standards are maintained, and they have a proper ventilation in working area, and these type of things. So there is an attitudinal change. Actually, we talked about welders. There should be a similar attitudinal change in the fabricators. That is, they ensure the safe. See, that is why the welding professional become important. A welding professional should be that welding inspector or welding engineer. That's a thing where we need a mandatory requirement we mentioned, because a welding engineer, he will not be interested only in increasing the production. He will not be interested only in providing solution. He will also be worried about the welding professional, that welders he is managing. He also will be worried about the environment in which he is working, and he also will be worried about globally his contribution, how it is going to affect the global environment. So such an attitude should come for a welding professional, and he should have a say. See, at present, what happened in a welding factory, in a fabrication shop, a welding professional is not there. Shop floor engineer will take care of what is welding requirement, and purchaser will take care of consumable requirement, and the inspector will take care of NDT requirement. Maybe the production or operation manager will take care of outsourcing the other requirements. So in these cases, everybody tries to make things cheaper or easier or faster. So there, this sustainable part gets a backseat. So if there is a true welding professional who takes care of everything related to welding, then he can tell, no, this is important. We cannot take this because this will affect my welder. This is important. If you do this way, it will harm our environment. For such type of things should be come from a welding professional, and that's such a direction should come into the welding professional. Then only it will become sustainable and surviving.
Mr. Shinoy, what challenges do industries commonly face when transition to energy efficient welding process, and what strategies or innovation do you foresee in overcoming these challenges?
There are multiple challenges, but going to energy efficient processes such as in my presentation as I showed, you can gradually move from arc welding to say MIG welding, from MIG welding to thin wire SAW. If you do that, you will be able to manage this. The challenges are, of course, capital intensive products. So the mental attitude to invest slightly more to get like throughput needs to be there, and long-term vision where one feels that the ROI will come over 3 to 5 years should also be considered. Sometimes it's a part of cost. ROI can come within 6 months also, but that initial upfront investment in those systems is a larger barrier, especially for MSMEs. So that is one thing. But of course, acceptability of processes now is much better. Of course, the Indian Bureau of Indian Standards is also working more towards generating better standards that are adaptable for the Indian Institute, Indian industries, and that helps, or I think that will lead to more and more adapt. So there is something called QCOs or quality control orders. As they keep coming out, I think better processes will be enforced, and that will make it, easier for adaptation because then it's a must-have.
Thank you, Mr. Shinoy. Mr. Amat Yoga, looking ahead, what emerging trends do you foresee in digital welding technology, and how do you anticipate these trends shaping the future of construction industry?
There is, almost 30% shortage of welders in India. And many welders I see when I go onto the sites, I see many welders have been imported from other, nations. So what we are doing is, there are two solutions for this. One is, since there is a shortage of welders, so use such a method which is not involving welders, which is not involving manpowers. That is automation. So it is robotic automation. So robotic automation is catching up very fast. I will say almost 20% annual growth I am seeing for last 2-3 years. Second is, there are for every application you cannot implement robotic, because robotic also has its own limitations. The second is the digital machines which I talked about, which is even the to train a welders also takes a lot of time. Say 1 year you need time to train a welders, but we do not have that much time because we have a lot of infrastructure projects which is continuing to be in process. So in that case, we need to make such digital machine which can understand and which can forgive the welders for their mistakes, and even the less mature operator can do a better welding than mature operator. So these are the two solutions I see, and which is happening, I mean, which is being implemented in the industry.
Thank you, Mr. Amat Yoga. Dr. Albert, how receptive is Indian welding industry to adopting standardized practices, and what strategies can be implemented to encourage widespread adoption and compliance?
See, now when we come to welder, you initially mentioned about upskilling the welders. See, traditional big companies, I think that their resistance is coming down. But earlier there was when the technology changes, there was a resistance from the people to adopt the technology. So this is what again, so we have to work on the motivation. So when you say that to reduce make it energy efficient, more environment friendly and all, means advanced technology to be adopted. So people should be ready to take the technology, because existing staff, they may be reluctant to change. And at every level that reluctance will be there. So that is to be overcome. This is where the motivation become important. Another thing is to be done is there should be a continuous improvement of our standards and codes. That is, we cannot have it old standards and requirements for the new technologies. So it should be upgraded continuously. Another important thing for training, as he mentioned, the previous speaker mentioned, there's a lot of cost involvement, time involvement. One good thing, some of you may be aware. One good thing is training welding simulators are available now. That is, you can, because the cost of already speakers mentioned, training, skilling a trainer and a welder is not an easy thing, because it is a very costly, expensive, because you need a plate, you need a pipe, you need a consumable, you need a gas, you need a power, everything to train. And the more you get trained, the better it becomes. So considering, realizing this limitation, people have already developed welding simulators. There you can a digital space. You can simulate a welding environment. They can even simulate a factory environment, and then you can train the welders. So it will not replace manual training, but substantially it will reduce. That is, because 100-hour training it can be maybe 40, 50 hours using simulators, which means you don't have any, you don't use any consumable during that such training period. Then adapt them to new manual training. One difficulty is that because since it is a digital intensive, the existing trainers, existing institutions are not ready to take this up. Another thing is cost of such a simulators, because but the people are working on that to bring down the cost of welding simulators. And I am proud to say there is a Indian company who makes these welding simulators, and they are making a big mark internationally now. So when such things are coming, then that gives us a lot of opportunity to bring down and get the more and more trained. And another positive part of this such a training is it also removes to a large extent the stigma associated with the welder. That is, he is no more working on a shabby working environment, but he is learning the skill on a digital environment, and with augmented reality and the artificial intelligence supported gadgets, and they're trying to learn this. So that also helps in removing the stigma, and he will never be found feel that it is bad thing. So these are the certain things which develop within the parallelly developing universally as well as within the country, and which will make more and more people attracted towards the profession of welding, and then catch up with the requirement of the skill in this.
Thank you, Albert sir.